أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Tonight, inshallah, we're going to go over our 8th lesson in our series on learning how to read Quran. And tonight's lesson will be a continuation of last night's lesson, in which we were practicing and learning how to connect our letters. We've practiced so far the alphabet. We've learned the pronunciation of the letters, the names of the letters, the sounds of the letters. We've learned how to write the capital letters and the lowercase letters. And now we're going to use all that we've learned and what we practiced last night to continue our progress in connecting the letters. Last night we did 2-letter words, 3-letter words, and some 4-letter words. And tonight, inshallah, we're going to practice connecting letters into words that are 5 letters or more. And we'll see that the process is the same, whether it's a 2-letter, 3-letter, 4, 5, 6, whatever letter, word it may be, the process is the same. So we're going to start with our first word. So we have 5 letters here. We have alif, lam, ha, mim, and dal. And the same as we did last night, we take each letter. If it has a lowercase form, then we will convert it to its lowercase form. So the alif does not have a lowercase form. Next is the lam. The lam, yes, it does have a lowercase form. When it connects to a letter on its left, as we learned before, we drop the tail of the lam, this tail over here, and we keep the long portion with a small extension to connect to the next letter. Then we have the ha. We drop the tail of the ha, we keep the top portion to have the lowercase. The same with the mim. We drop the straight tail portion and keep the top part as we have here in the lowercase mim, and the dal stays the same. So now we're going to take these lowercase letters and see how we connect them. Now, if you remember, there are certain letters that will connect to a letter on their right, but they will not connect the letters on their left. And the alif is one of them. So we have an alif here, so we have to leave a space after it because it does not connect on its left. Next, we take this lam, we put it next to the alif here with a space in between them. And then we take our ha and connect it right to that extension that we had with the lam. Next, we take our lowercase mim and connect it to the extension of the ha. And then the dal gets connected to the extension of the mim. Now we're going to write this ourselves. So here we have our alif. We're going to draw our alif as a straight line, and we have to remember to leave a space after it. Now we're going to write the lowercase of the lam, straight down, and then a small extension. We're going to write the lowercase of the ha. We're going to drop the tail and keep just the head portion, the top portion. So we write the ha. Then we're going to drop the long tail on the mim and keep just the top portion. So we have the mim. And then we're going to write in the dal connected to the extension of the mim. And there's our word. So let's go to our next one. Here we have, again, this starts with an alif. Then we have noon, ayn, mim, and our last letter is ta. And once again, we remember that we have to leave a space after the alif. So we bring the alif by itself without connecting to anything else. And of course, it doesn't have a lowercase form. It stays as is. The noon loses its tail, and we keep this small curve. It comes straight down, just this little curve right here. And we know that the noon has 1 dot on top. Now, if you remember, the ayn has 3 lowercase forms. It has this form when it's the first letter of a word. It has this form when it's in the middle of a word. And then it has this third form when it's the last letter of a word. So since this ayn is in the middle of a word, in the middle of this word, we're going to use the second form here. So then we have the mim. We're going to drop its tail again and keep just the top. And now the ta. The ta, of course, does have a lowercase form. But why do we keep it in its uppercase form? Why do we keep it complete? Because if you remember, we discussed last night that when a letter is a last letter of a word where there's a space after it. It stays in its capital form. So the ta is the last letter of this word, so it will stay in its full capital form. It will not change to lowercase. So we're going to take these lowercase words, these lowercase letters, and see how they connect now. So we have the alif, it comes here, and we leave a space. Then we have this lowercase noon right here. And then this middle form of the ayn gets connected to the noon. The meme gets connected to the extension of the ayn, and then the ta gets connected to the extension of the meme. Now it's our turn to write the word ourselves. So now we write the alif, simple. Leave a space because the alif does not connect on its left. Now we're going to write the lowercase of the noon. We just come down a little bit and give it a small extension, and the noon has one dot on top. Now we're going to write in the ayn form, which it has when it's in the middle of a word. So we start from there, and it's this middle form. Now we write in just the top portion of the meme. Just the top portion of the meme, and then the ta, we keep complete, and we connect it to the extension. We write it so it's connected to the extension of the meme, and of course write in our two dots for the ta. Very simple. And it's the same process no matter how many letters the words have. So now we have our next word. We have ayn, lam, ya, ha, and meme. So now what are we going to do? This ayn is the first letter of the word, so it's going to have this form, not the other form that we wrote in the last word. It's the first letters, so we simply drop the tail and keep the top. The lam, of course, we drop the tail and keep the long portion with the small extension. The ya has a lowercase form that looks like the ba, the ta, the tha, and the noon. It has this simple shape. They all have the same shape in their lowercase forms, but we can tell the difference between them when we see the dots and how many there are. So the ya has two dots underneath. And if you remember, our next letter, the ha, has three forms as well. It has this form when it's at the beginning of a word. It has this form when it's in the middle of a word. And this is the lowercase ha when it's at the end of a word, when it's the last letter. So because this ha is in the middle of a word, it's between two other letters, we're going to use the second form, the middle form. And then the meme, since it's the last letter of a word, will stay the same. So now we're going to see how they connect. This ayn gets written here. The lam gets connected to the extension of the ayn. The ya gets connected to the lam. And then we bring the middle form of the ha, and then the full form of the meme. And how is this written? Well, here we go. We're going to write the ayn, just the top portion without the tail. Now we're going to write the lam in such a way that it connects right here. So we start here, bring the lam down, and give it a small extension. Next, we're going to write the lowercase of the ya so that it's connected to the lam. And remember to always write the two dots of the ya. Next, we have the ha, and we have to write the middle form. So we come down, come up, loop, and then give it a little extension. And then we write the full form of the meme. And there's our completed word. No problem at all. Let's go to our next one. Here we have a meme, ghain, dad, waw, ba. The meme, of course, you've seen its lowercase form. It's just the top portion. The ghain has three lowercase forms, just like the ayn. The only difference between ayn and ghain is that the ghain has one dot on top. So we're going to use the middle form of the ghain because it's between two letters, and we give it its dot. For the dad, we drop the tail portion, and we keep just the top with this small extension here in place of the tail. The waw does not change. It does not have a lowercase form, so it stays as is. And the ba is the last letter, so it stays the same. So now we see how it's all put together in this word. This is our lowercase meme, the middle form of the ghain, the lowercase dad, the waw, and as you can see, the waw does not connect to the ba because waw is one of those letters that has a space after it. It does not connect on its left, so we leave a space. And now we're going to write it ourselves. So we write the meme in without its long tail. We just have a small extension. Now we're going to write the middle form of the ghain, just like the ayn, but with a dot. And then we're going to write our Dad. And instead of the tail, we're going to just write this little extension like that. And of course, the dot on the Dad. Then our Waw connected to the Dad. And then the full uppercase Ba, because the Waw does not connect on its left, so the Ba stays as is, and the Ba is the last letter, so it stays as is. Now we're going to go to, I believe, a 6-letter word now. Here we go. We have Alif, Lam, Ra, Ha, Mim, and Nun. And it's the same process as before. The Alif stays the same. You've seen the lowercase Lam. The Ra does not change. It's another letter that doesn't have a lowercase form. We keep the top portion of the Ha. We keep the top portion of the Mim. And the Nun, being the last letter, stays the same. So now you see how they connect. Alif with the space after it, because it doesn't connect on its left. The lowercase of the Lam connected to Ra. And the Ra does not connect on its left, so we leave a space. Lowercase Ha, lowercase Mim. Full Nun, because the Nun is the last letter, so it stays in its uppercase form. So now we write it. And of course, as we're going over these lessons, it's very helpful for you. You should have your own paper, your own pencil or pen, and you should be writing these along. Or if you watch this later, you can follow along and write it then if you're not doing so now. But you definitely should be writing these. It helps a lot. It helps much quicker, helps you learn much faster if you're writing it yourself. So here we go. Alif always has a space on its left. Lowercase Lam, small extension. We write the Ra connected to it and leave a space because Ra does not connect on its left. Here we have the top of the Ha, no tail. Lowercase Mim, and the Nun stays full, it stays uppercase because it's the last letter. And we're going to move on. We're going to do the next letters that remain a little bit more quickly because you've gotten used to it. So now we have Ain, Lam, Mim, Ya, and Nun. You've seen the lowercase of the Ain when it's the first letter. It's this form. You've seen the lowercase Lam a few times. You've seen Mim a few times already. This is lowercase Mim. You've seen the Ya, that it looks just like the Nun, Ba, Ta, and Tha in its lowercase form, except it has 2 dots underneath. And you've seen the Nun at the end of a word. It stays in its full form. And now here's how they connect. Lowercase Ain, lowercase Lam, lowercase Mim, lowercase Ya, lowercase Nun. And here, let's have some fun writing it ourselves. Here's the Ain. Then we're going to bring down the Lam with a small extension. Write the lowercase Mim. Write the lowercase Ya with the 2 dots underneath. And then connect the Nun with its 1 dot. You see how easy it is? If you keep on writing, even if you write the same 5, 10, 20 words over and over and over, it's going to become so easy for you. And here's our next word. No matter how many letters it has, don't ever be intimidated by it. It's still always very simple because you take it 1 or 2 letters at a time. Nun, here we have Nun, Sin, Ta, Ain, Ya, and Nun. So here Nun is the first letter, so we write its lowercase. This is lowercase Sin. You see how we drop the tail and we keep the top portion. Lowercase Ta, the middle form of the Ain again, which we've seen a lot so far. The lowercase Ya again, which you've seen. And you see here the Nun, lowercase Nun here, and this lowercase Ya, they have the same basic shape. Same as this Ta, same basic shape, but we tell the difference between them by the number of dots that they have and whether the dot is on top or underneath. And this Ya has 2 dots underneath, and Nun, this Nun is the last letter, so it stays in its full form. So here we have the letters connected. You see it. Lowercase Nun, lowercase Sin, lowercase Ta, lowercase Ain, lowercase Ya, and Nun again. So now we write it, and you're going to be writing it too. Here's the lowercase Nun with a dot. Lowercase Sin, remember we write 1 curve, 2 curve, and then small extension. Next we write the curve for the Ta, and the Ta has 2 dots on top. Then we write the middle form of the Ain, since it's between 2 letters. Now we write the Ya, the small curve with 2 dots underneath, and then uppercase Nun because it's the last letter. Very simple. Our next word. Here we have Mim, Sin, Ta, Qaf, Ya, and Mim. And a lot of these letters you've already seen the lowercase forms. There's lowercase Mim, lowercase Sin, lowercase Ta, and this one may be new. We haven't covered it in this lesson yet. It's the Qaf. We drop the tail of the qaf, and we keep this small circle with the little extension and the two dots, lowercase ya, and the meme at the end stays in its uppercase form. So this is now the word with its letters connected. We have meme, sin, ta, qaf, ya, and meme at the end. So now you write it. Here we have the top portion of the meme with its small extension. Remember the sin, one curve, two curve, and a small extension. Then we write small curve for the ta with its two dots. The qaf, circle and small extension. And of course, qaf has two dots. The small extension of the ya with its two dots underneath. And then we keep the meme in its full form at the end. So now we've had two lessons so far on how to connect the letters.